Hi lovelies, you're welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be drafting this underbust princess armhole top with Queen Anne neckline. So let's get started. Now I've gone ahead to fold my pattern into two, just as you see me doing here. Now from this point here, I'm going to mark a point and then I will come down to my bust point. Then I will also mark my underbust point, and lastly my waist point of 18 inches. Now I'll go ahead and rule a straight line on those points I mark on my pattern paper. So after I was done doing that, I will label this my shoulder line, my bust line, my under bust line, and then my waist line. Now I'm going to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2 give me 8 inches. On my shoulder line, I will mark the 8 inches. And then I'm going to take 3 inches for the neck wideness. Then on the 8 inches point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slope. Now I'll connect this to the neck wideness on the shoulder line. After doing that, my armhole circumference divided by 2, my armhole circumference is 17 inches, divided by 2 give me 8.5 inches. So from that shoulder slope point, I'm going to come down by 8.5 inches and I will rule a straight line connecting to the point. After connecting it this way, I'll go ahead to connect it this way as well. And then I will label this my chest line. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to divide what I have for my armhole line into 2. And then from that point there, I'm going to go in by half of an inch. And then I will take my bust circumference divided by 4, which gives me 10 inches. I'll mark the point here. And then I'll go ahead and connect the armhole this way. So after connecting the armhole this way, the next thing I'm going to do is to come up by 1.5 inches. Now this is to cover up my cleavage. You can come up by 2 inches if you want. So now I'll go ahead and connect the 1.5 inches point this way. Now I'm going to label this line my upper chest line. The next thing I'm going to do is my nipple to nipple point is 8 inches. I'm going to divide it by 2 and I have 4 inches. So from my bust line here, I'm going to mark the 4 inches on my under bust line as well and my waist line. So I'll go ahead now and I will connect the points together. So after I'm done connecting the points together, this is my center front and then this is my side front. So on the center front, I'm going to mark 1 inch. On the side front, I'll mark 1 inch as well. So I will do the same thing on my under bust line and then my waist line. Now I'll go ahead and connect the points this way. So after I'm done doing that, from my bust line here under that leg, I'll come down by 1 inch. This is to avoid any pointiness. Okay, now I'll go ahead and connect it this way. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is just to outline this with my marker, so this will be more visible. Okay, now on this point here that I have the middle point on the armhole, I will come down by 1 inch, and then from that point there, I will connect all the way to the dart leg on the bust line. Okay, so I just want to extend this line so it will be more visible. Now I'm going to connect it to that point I have on my armhole. So I'll connect it this way. Then that line I have on my armhole, I'm going to be marking ½ inch on one side, then ½ inch on the other side as well. So I'll go ahead now and connect it this way. So I'm just going to connect it and blend it into the line, the main that princess dart line. Okay, So after I'm done connecting this, the line here, that is this down line here, this particular line here, I'm going to go up by 1 inch, but in a slant method. Okay, now I'll go ahead and connect this with my ruler. Now this is to avoid any shortage while joining the princess dart. Now remember, I took my bust circumference divided by 4, which gives me 10 inches. Now I'm going to add extra 1 inch to this, okay, and then I will connect it back to the new armhole line this way. So this is our new armhole line. We are no longer needing this middle line here, and also this armhole line here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to take my under bust circumference divided by 4 will give me 8 inches, and then I'm going to replace the dart intake of 2 inches. Then on the waistline, I'll take my waist circumference divided by 4, which gives me 8.5 inches. I'll mark it there and then replace the dart intake of 2 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect the body points together. So after I'm done connecting this, on the main body point here below the bust line, I will come down by 1.5 inches, and that's the difference between the front length and the back length. Now go ahead now and connect it this way to form our side dart. So after I'm done doing that, I will take my allowance of 1.5 inches on the lines I have there, and then I'll go ahead to connect it this way, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do now is to extend that side dart to the allowance line, and then I'll use my marker to outline it properly. So after doing that, remember from this my body line itself, this is my body measurement line itself, I'll divide what I have from that point to my armhole line point, and what I have after dividing by 2 is 1.5 inches. So now I'm going to mark the point there, and then I will go ahead to connect it this way with my curve rule. So just watch closely what I'm doing. So I'll go ahead and connect it this way to the armhole line, just like this. And then I'll just blend this here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is from this my shoulder point here, I'm going to come down by 3 inches. And then from that 3 inches, I will use my pencil to mark out the shape, the preferred shape that I want. Now after using my pencil to mark out the preferred shape that I want, I will go ahead to use my marker to outline this properly. So after I'm done outlining with my marker, the next thing I'm going to do is from this point here, I'll come in by 3 inches. Then I'll connect that 3 inches point I just marked now to the neck wideness this way. So this has formed my Queen Anne neck line, okay? Now I'll go ahead and outline the shoulder point and also the armhole point so that you understand what I'm trying to explain here, okay? So this is our old armhole line that we're no longer making use of, okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do is to connect from the under bust this way to the bust line with your curve rule. Then I'll go ahead to blend this way. Then I'll also go ahead to outline the waistline with my marker so it will be more visible. So this is my center front, this is my side front, and then this is my yoke, and then this is my cup 1, my cup 2. So I'm going to transfer this pattern that I drafted here on the other side. Remember, I folded this by 2 when I started drafting it, okay? Now after I transferred the pattern to the other side as well, this is what I have. So now I'm going to be using one side to show you how I'm going to how I'm going to open up this bust line here. this way. Then I'll go ahead to close the bust side dart. So I'm just going to use one side to just explain what I want to explain, okay? Now I'll go ahead now and close the side dart. Then I will tape this down with my paper tape. Now if you notice, the cup has adjusted and also the side. So what I'm going to do now is just to blend this back properly. And I'll also blend the side as well. So I'll connect it back to the under bust line this way. So please do this so that you will not have any shortage, okay? Now I will go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side as well. So after I was done doing that, I'll go ahead and fold this back and then cut out the front pattern. So after cutting the front piece, the next thing I'm going to do is to close the dart of this down part here. You know, this is, I cut this on fold, so I'm going to be closing this dart. So I'll just join the dart leg together. I'll close this and then I will join the other dart leg together, and then I'll close this because this dress does not have like joining at the front, okay? So just go ahead and cut out with 1/2 inch all round on your fabric, and this is all for the front piece. I'll proceed to cut out the back piece. So for the back piece, I'm cutting with single pattern paper. Now I'm going to mark 1.5 inches, and this 1.5 inches I'm marking is for my zip allowance. I'll go ahead and roll a straight line on those points I mark out. So I'll go ahead and label this my zip allowance, and then I'm going to be taking the length of the back, which is 16.5 inches. So this is the difference between the front and the back. Okay, so it's the 1.5 inches that I actually used for the side dart of the front. That's why I made the front 18 inches. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and connect the point I marked there. So that's my shoulder line here, and then this is my back waistline. Now I'm going to be taking my bust point from my shoulder line. I'll come down to my bust point and I'll mark the point there. So the under bust point is not really necessary for the back drafting, okay? So I'll go ahead and label this my bust line, and then I'm going to take my shoulder measurement of 8 inches, the neck wideness of 3 inches, and the neck depth for the back of 1.5 inches. I'll go ahead and connect the neck points together this way, and I will extend the neck depth line to the allowance part as well. Now I will come down by 1 inch on my shoulder measurement to get my shoulder slope, and then I will go ahead to mark my armhole circumference divided by 2, which is 8.5 inches. I will go ahead and connect the points together, and I will rule a straight line like this as well. So this line here is my chest line. Now I'll take my dart of 4 inches after dividing 8 inches by 2. I'll mark it on my chest line, bust line, and my back waist line. Now I'll go ahead and connect the points together this way. Now I'm going to be marking half inch beside the dart leg on my back waist line. I'll go ahead and then connect it this way up to the chest line. So this is for my back dart. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to take my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll mark the point there, and then I'll go ahead to connect the back armhole this way. Now I'm going to be taking my waist circumference divided by 4, which gives me 8.5 inches. I'll mark the point and then I will replace the dart intake of 1 inch there, then I'll go ahead to connect the body measurement together. After connecting the body measurement together, I'll add my allowance of 1.5 inches on my bust line, and then my back waistline. I'll go ahead to connect the 2 points together. So after I'm done connecting the points, I'll go ahead and label this my allowance. So now I'm going to extend my back waistline to the zipper allowance area. And then from that point here on the zipper allowance point, I'll go in by ½ inch, and then I'll connect it this way. Now the reason for doing this is to avoid any zipper bulginess, okay? So I'm going to be cutting this side off. Now this is the back pattern which I'm going to cut ×2 on my fabric, and I'll go ahead to cut out the back pattern. So after cutting, this is all for the back pattern, and this is all for the front pattern as well. So at this point, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, comment, share and like. I will see you in my next video, but for now, bye and thanks for watching.